Hey guys, it's your girl LaSalle and welcome back to a new video. I have been making dresses based off of each of the months, and every month has a different theme, and we're working on February. If you want to go see January's, go ahead and click in the eye. It will be tagged in this video, either up above, at the end, down below, all over. The tag for January would be somewhere here. So if you're interested in seeing how January turned out, then go check that. But right now, we are working on gorgeous February. What do we think? I think we absolutely nailed it. So let's get into how she was made. Okay, so for this dress, we started off with the design. When I thought about February, obviously the first two things that came to mind was snow and Valentine's Day. I didn't want to go the traditional red, pink kind of combo for February. No. I didn't want that. So kind of the same as when I made my February mood boards for my laptop and my phone. So those colors that I used there were like a butter yellow and like a lavender. But again, I wanted this element of snow to really be like on the forefront, this like soft elegance sort of thing. So I thought of white, and then after I thought of white, I thought of doing flowers, because February, Valentine's Day, you always do flowers. So more like a cream ivory sort of color other than a stark white. And then the lace was to nod to like the really girliness and the Valentine's Day lovey-dovey sort of feel with all different types of colors. Once again, going back with the snow, like elegant theme, we got all these little pearl details. I thought they were so cute. The pattern, based off of the bodice block that I got beforehand, for the front panel, we were dividing them into two. You have a bell sleeve, sort of, kind of more like a bell cuff at the edges of it, at your wrist, and then just a plain half circle skirt. I don't believe that I did a quarter circle skirt. I did a half circle skirt for this. And then the back's regular. Now that we have our design and our pattern thought out, let's go ahead and cut in to our materials. Alright, let's get into the materials that are needed. First off is fabric. I used a Scuba heavy cotton stretch fabric, but any fabric that's heavy cotton will do. I also use this embroidery flower lace, and let me tell you, this lace is exactly like how I envisioned it to be, so I'm definitely leaving a link to it in the description bar down below. I got it off of Etsy. As for notions, we're going to need pearl beads and invisible thread. You're going to need regular thread, obviously. And then for tools, we need measuring tape, scissors, sewing machine, overlock machine, optional, and a needle. Alrighty, so these are all the pieces cut out. So the top part, I actually cut out 3 pieces of the very top. 2 of them are going to sandwich together to become our shelf bra, and then one's going to be the outside piece. Then for our front, we also have the bottom section of it for our princess seam, empire waist. There we go, it's an empire waist. And then we have our back panel piece. I also cut out the front only, so the front for the top in the lace and the front for the bottom in the lace as well. Then we have our sleeves. I just did a long sleeve and then cuffs, and that length of fabric that was there, we're gonna have to redo it anyways. And then we have our skirt. Alrighty, we're going to be doing a shelf bra on pretty much all of these, so by now you might actually know how to do it, but we're just going to take one side, so go and put that to the side there, open this up, and we are going to put the one that does not have any straps over top of the one that does have straps, and we're just going to sew all of those together, match up the lines and sew it, and leave about an inch at the bottom because we are going to be putting an elastic in there. Where you see the top section of this bra, I have a little gap opening right where the straps are going to be, because that's where we can insert some cups for the bras if we needed some extra padding there. There's got to be an easier way to thread elastic through a tunnel other than, you know, a safety pin to pull it through. But anyways, once I did that, I did go ahead and straight stitch. Actually, no, not straight. I used a zigzag stitch for all of this material because it was a heavy duty stretch cotton, so zigzag stitches are what you use for stretch cottons on a regular machine, but I just did a zigzag stitch over the openings at the bottom for both of them because I didn't want the elastic to move. Okay, so for the lace, I didn't actually have enough material to cut out the front panel straight, so I cut out to how much I could and then added in the extra length to the straps. And once that was sewn down, we're just going to sew the entirety of the lace onto the front pieces onto the front pieces of the dress. We're just going to stitch all the way around it so that the lace does not move. Once that was done for both the top and bottom of the front panels, we're going to go ahead and actually stitch those two panels together. Whenever you're dealing with any sort of pattern that doesn't exactly line up, it's always a smart idea to get the two end pieces and the middle piece lined up perfectly first, and then ease your way through with the rest in the middle to get a perfect line in your stitches. Once that is stitched, we could actually go ahead and add our shelf bra onto our front panel. So we're just going to sew right sides together for this, and then once that's sewn all the way around, so over all of the straps and the sides, we are going to go ahead then and flip it inside out. Once we're good with that, we're actually going to attach just the shoulder pieces together for the front and back. So to me, one of the easier ways to sew your sleeves onto your panels is to actually sew the shoulder seams first, and then to have everything open and sew your sleeves onto the open sleeve length, and then sew your sides together for the entire thing afterwards. Since I still had the cuffs to add on to the sleeves, I'm just going to sew the front panel pieces back and front on the side together first, and then we're going to go ahead and deal with our sleeves. So the first thing is we're going to actually add these cuffs. So I made the sleeve lengths way too long in the first place and way too wide, so that's going to be fixed in the actual pattern, but we're just going to sew the cuffs on first and then mark off and cut off that extra length. And then once that's done, we're going to sew the sleeves together in its entirety. So by this point, I tried it on and I realized that the back was actually a lot bigger than it needed to be. So I'm just going to do a dart, which in hindsight, I should have done the dart all the way down to the bottom. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, once we do that, we're going to go ahead and take our circle skirt and we're just going to sew our two ends side pieces together. And then once those are sewn together, we're going to go ahead and attach the top of the circle skirt to the bodice piece. So once that is done, we're going to flip the dress inside out and we're going to start hand stitching all of the bigger pearls onto the top of the dress with the invisible thread. The invisible thread is really just like a plastic thread that is clear, so you don't really see it. But yeah, invisible thread. Remember those pieces of fabric that I said were useless at the beginning? It's because I wanted to make a tie detail around the sleeves, and these pieces were A, way too short, and B, way too thick for the pearls to actually fit into. So I had to go ahead and cut another long, thinner strip and to make string out of, and then I still needed to make the holes of these pearls even bigger, but this strip was a lot better than the ones that I had beforehand. Alright, home stretch. Once that is sewed onto the sleeves, we're going to take our scrap pieces of the embroidery flowers that we had before. I'm going to take this hot tool that's used to make markings for wood making, and I'm going to start actually melting the lace out from around the embroidery of the flowers so that we can go ahead and hand stitch those flowers onto the dress itself to make it look like the embroidery of the flowers are actually going over top and it doesn't just stop at the waistline. And to tie in the flower detail from the top of the bodice, we're actually going to hand stitch as well some flowers on to the sleeve and put some smaller pearl details along the sleeve rim as well. And that would be February's dress completely done. Okay, that's February. Doesn't she look like she's straight out of a fairy tale? I think she looks straight out of a fairy tale. She looks like she's straight out of a fairy tale. Now, something I have been debating for a little while, I'm thinking about actually scaling this pattern and offering it for you guys to be able to actually make yourself based off the pattern that I made, with all the edits and modifications and all of that. So if that is something that you guys would like to have, let me know and I will actually work on it. Would be the very first time I would be pattern drafting. This will be the very first time that I'm pattern drafting for other people to be able to make based off of patterns that I've made. I have never done this before, so if this is something you're interested, I will work towards getting that out to you, so let me know. And if that's the case, then I will also need a sample group to be able to actually test the pattern out for me. You know, we can see if this pattern actually works for multiple people or not. If you guys are interested in having the pattern, let me know. If you're interested in being a part of the testing group when it is ready, also let me know down below in the description bar or wherever. Send me a DM, hey, all of that. And next is going to be March, so if you want to see all the craziness on how I make all these dresses, subscribe, hit those notification bells, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.